whole lot of damage taken, so that was a good play by Jangbi, but Ssak does have a lot of forces. Jangbi's I think Jangbi's really is gonna make a play here to stop this this fourth base, whether that happens now or possibly in another minute or two once he gets an arbiter, gets maybe gets a stasis ready, that sort of thing. That could be what we'll probably be waiting for. He's gonna want that before he can really get into a fight, but this is going to be a very important important point in the match. If Jangbi can take down this fourth base, it's going to end up being a very close game, and Jangbi would probably even be said to have an advantage. If Jangbi cannot, if he attacks into this fourth base trying to take it down and isn't able to come away with the victory, isn't able to take out most of the military in that base, it's pretty much over. Jangbi's just fallen too far behind in the eco for the most part to really take it down, and looks like a fifth base is being set up by Jangbi at the 9 o'clock main, and a vulture going in there and going to scout it out. But there's a cannon already warping, so he should be safe to take that down to protect it, as long as another batch of vultures doesn't head up that way, which is entirely possible from Ssak. If Ssak wants to be just minuscule more aggressive. We do have the arbiter out and some observers helping these dragoons to try and clear away some of these mines before he goes in for the engagement. And here he goes for the engagement. The arbiter looks like it already got one stasis off, catching a couple of tanks, but I don't know if this is really enough. There's just so many tanks back there, and Jangbi coming in here. As long as those zealots are alive, Jangbi's going to continue with this assault, but the zealots are almost out. There's only a couple left. Looks like most of the front has gone down for Ssak, but seriously, just so many tanks in the back there. Jangbi trying to get some zealots into the mix. In the back, tanks taking down a couple more, but Jangbi needs to back off right now, and he is. He started to lose some dragoons there, but for the most part, it's just a tough spot for Jangbi. There's just so much there for Ssak, and he wants to try and stop this fourth base from coming up as much as possible. But Ssak able to defend, so Sak's gonna be in a really nice spot. Now that he's got this fourth base, that means that he's outside of his natural. Like if Jangbi took down that fourth, then that would kind of contain Ssak a little bit. Now that Sak's going to be able to take that fourth, that also means that the 6 o'clock position down there, he can broil up those eggs, and he'll have another expansion that he can relatively safely take for Ssak. So that means that his fifth is also going to be a spot that's difficult for Jangbi to fight against. And yeah, that's really going to hurt Jangbi's options. I mean, you don't see too many games in PvT where a Terran player gets a fifth base and doesn't win. That's not normal. Sometimes you'll see them take a fourth and still lose, but a fifth is very rare. It doesn't really matter. A Protoss can have 7 bases, and still against those 5, Terran has pretty much everything they need to produce their ridiculous Terran ball, and even if they lose an engagement, they're gonna have so much money, so much income that they can rebuild it, and especially with all the gas. I think every base on this map is a gas base, I believe. I don't think that there's any mineral only. There might be one in the corners or something. Another dropship coming here, and it's gonna get picked off. So another dropship for Ssak, not doing anything, but I mean, Ssak doesn't really need to be aggressive here, I don't think, but it looks like he's trying to solidify his position with a little bit of economic harassment. Jangbi looks like he's setting up a 6th base, so that is good for Jangbi. Gonna make this just a huge, massive macro game. Now, if this was best, if Jangbi was actually best, you could actually see him, throw up his 30 gateways, and this would just be a really entertaining game. But we'll see. Don't see a carrier, don't see a fleet beacon, so I think this is just going to be continued arbiter play. And Jangbi looks like he wants to do a recall, but there's no point in recalling his back base. Number 1, there's 50 turrets there. Number 2, there's mines. Number 3, that base is almost mined out, so I hope Jangbi doesn't try and make a push at that back base. There's really no purpose, and by the time he gets through all of that crap that's there for Ssak and gets to the factories, which is probably where he would actually do true damage, it's pretty much going to be Ssak will be able to get out, and this is just Don't you usually send an observer first to check? And Jangbi looking like getting that little pout face, the little puppy dog. But don't you usually send an observer first at the pro level just to check, make sure that there aren't 700 turrets? But I guess Jangbi kind of skimping on that a little bit. He is setting up a few gateways at the 9 o'clock main to augment his forces and provide a secondary reinforcement route. And Ssak looks like he's ready to start doing a little bit of a tearing crawl here towards Jangbi's natural. I think this is the time when Jangbi can try and make an attack when the forces are kind of split up a little bit. I don't know if Jangbi realized just how split up the forces were. There was that northern batch which is strong, and then the southern batch which is somewhat weaker. Finally some high Templars being mixed in, but it might be a little bit late. It looks like Jangbi coming in for a little bit of a counterattack or something here, coming to the south. I think he should try and come around top and try and hit the army. I don't know if he can take down this 4th base, that would help. But he needs to be prepared for the army. Yeah, he needs to get his zealots up north, and a nice EMP coming in. Only one of the stasis getting off. The zealots really need to get to the north if he's going to take this down. Too many of the dragoons were taking the brunt of the tank fire, so Jangbi lost pretty much his entire force with all these zealots in the bottom and not being the cannon fodder that they need to be, and some mines taking out a ton of zealots there. So Jangbi not microing that battle correctly, in my opinion. He was going for the economy, for the 4th base there, and he lost his own 4th base, but I guess he didn't expect Ssak to turn around as quickly as he did. I think he should have. I definitely think he should have expected that, and should have had his zealots prepared to engage the army coming home from Ssak, rather than having the zealots to the south so far. But yeah, this is going to be ugly now for Jangbu. I really fear for him. I don't know how he's going to be able to defend against this. He's going to get contained into his main. He is trying to set up a 7th base there at the top right, but this is not pretty. This is not good. Ssak setting up his 5th base as well at the 6th. And I think this is GG. It's a matter of when Jangbi wants to, but this is GG unless there's carriers coming from somewhere, unless there's some, maybe, I don't know, there's turrets everywhere, so these DTs are only going to be modestly, do modest damage at best, and yeah. Not a real good position for Jangbi at all. He's contained into his main. He's got this left side, but that left side base is not that strong. Really, there aren't enough gateways there. I don't know if to really push out or to reinforce too strongly. It looks like Jangbi's going to try and push out of his main. Ssak maybe didn't reinforce it as much as he should have. Yeah, it looks like he didn't reinforce it that much. So he's going to let Jangbi out of his main. And so maybe with that little bit of an error, if Jangbi could maybe get here in time to save these bases on the left side, it's going to be close. If he can get there in time to save it, he has to save it. If they don't, if these bases fall on the left, it is truly over. And Jangbi losing a lot of units to mines here. Really, that force that was coming to try and rescue and flank is getting smaller and smaller by the second due to all these mines, and they're intercepting some of the reinforcements from Ssak, which is good, but they're getting diverted once again, and Jangbi getting some reinforcements here. He might be able to save this base. I mean, he lost the natural. This is just so much damage being done to Jangbi's economy. No counter damage being done to Ssak. Ssak just being able to build up continuously. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Jangbi's going to be able to get out of this. These mines, some very nice mines. It looks like a nice little stasis went off there. So Jangbi's going to save the main, but he's really only mining off that 9 o'clock main and this top right base that will only really realistically live as long as Ssak doesn't know about it. If Ssak knows about it, it's easy to send half a dozen vultures there and take the whole thing down. In a heartbeat, really. And the 6 o'clock base, at least for Ssak, isn't being used due to the DT there. It looks like it's still sitting there, and these 3 tanks are going to go down. So I mean, Ssak was forced, Ssak decided to split his forces up a little bit, so Jangbi was able to clean up most of it, which is good. But, I'm sure, I think Jangbi probably had a little bit of a bank there, which is why he was able to rebuild all of this. I don't know if he's probably spent virtually all of his bank in terms of creating this force, which is a decent force. If he needs some storms mixed in. We need one of those Jangbi storm moments where he just storms and kills 17 tanks with 4 High Templars or 5 High Templars, something ridiculous. If he can do that, maybe even this game up a little bit. That would be so cool. I wish Jangbi would go Storms. We saw a couple High Templar, but really just not that many yet. And I think he needs to go the High Templar. I think he needs to go that route where it's sort of like, alright, I'm gonna get these storms off. I'm gonna get something, get a spell that will win this game for me, or at least even up a battle for me, or else I'm done. And here comes an Arbiter looking to maybe do a recall, but it had no luck, running into Goliaths. And I think that Ssak has so much money that he's casually mixing in a larger number of Goliaths than you normally see in a Terran force, because he's got the money. He can afford to do Terran or tanks and more Goliaths, and rather than just tank Vulture, which is normal. And some looks like Jangbi's gonna come in here for another assault, maybe. Nope, not gonna come in here. Too many. Look at all those tanks. Look at that. There's like 20 tanks. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14. I think there's like 17 tanks. I want to say something like that. It's a lot of tanks. And Jangbi's Arbiters, they kind of have vanished. Not really sure where they went. Maybe trying to hide them from the EMP. Setting up for a flank a little bit here, wanting to get Ssak to commit maybe to the 9 o'clock position and then come around. I think an offensive recall, or a defensive recall, I should say, right on top of the tanks would be really, really cool. I think we're to that point where we kind of need something like that for him to survive. And another Arbiter going down. Third Arbiter for Jangbi falling to before I can get its recall off, which sucks. And Jangbi coming in here for another assault towards that 4th base of Ssak, and this is again gonna be complete fail. Jeez, Jangbi's gonna GG. Another fail. Jangbi falling behind economically. I think you know, everything else that Jangbi did, I think it can be attributed to him knowing he was behind economically and wanting to make a play, wanting to get some damage done, and not being able to do so. But other than that, I mean, some questionable decisions by Jangbi, and Ssak just playing pretty boring Terran style. I don't know if there's any way that you could make a case that was an entertaining game from Ssak, but coming away with the victory with that with a pretty solid turtle style. So that's it. Jangbi gets knocked out. Ssak somehow advances. But yeah, Sack's going to advance to the MSL, and Jangbi does not, and I'm sad now. So I'm going to stop this recording here and bid you adieu. MST Group 1 is completed.